Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're taking a look at xikers, ROCKSTAR dance practice. Now I have treated this like a mini little dance practice marathon because I recently finished their Sundays marathon ATs, so I thought it'd only be fitting to do a little catch up of this group because they're considered Gen 5, right? So it's a really fun thing for me. Normally I don't get to do marathons with Gen 5 because I catch them early, but they've had quite a few, maybe about 4 or 5 dance practices at the time we were recording this. So I think it's really fun to just kind of go through their dance practices and analyze them and give my thoughts. And so far it's been really interesting and in a great way, and I'm very intrigued to see what this one vibe-wise has to offer. So we're gonna go ahead and check it out. Wow. Nice. So we're seeing some overlapping grooves that we saw in the first one. This is really fun. Woo! So many shoots in this with a little bit of get sturdy. Wow, that's probably gonna date this routine a little bit as they get older and as the eras go on. I think that's my only note. That's how I said about a couple of AT's tracks. You hear that? There's so much of that recognized in this, and I really like it. Yep, we're building it up, very similar to what we did before. Hey! Yeah. That was a nice moment. Great way to initiate your feature. That's a great way to transition. I love that section a lot. Very different than how you would normally approach it, and I love that. Yes! There's so many speed changes in this. It's so fun. This would be a nightmare to do a step chart on for Pump It Up. I swear to you. Wow. Whew. Yeah, I got tired just watching that. That's amazing. That was really good. So far, when I've seen Gen 5 choreography, it's very, like, you can tell, just like Gen 2 is so much more on the charisma, presentation of performance and power and prowess, with the dancing like being there, but not nearly as much of a forefront as what we're seeing in Gen 5. My goodness. And I know Gen 4 really set that bar, and this is maddeningly very complex, and I'm very happy about it because it gives me lots to talk about. Okay, from the top, here we go. So some of my notes I gave from their last one, it was Tricky House, which, side note, when I actually listened to the song, it gave me Agrabah, like Aladdin, like you know how like Pirate King to ATEEZ is Tricky House to Xikers. Because like I think it's your lore presented is what it gave. Like we're establishing this is the lore, and theirs feels very much like royalty in like the Monkey King royalty. It like gives off that vibe. A different, same world, different. They're on land, whereas ATEEZ is in water. It kind of gives that different natural elements, just based on the. It just gave off that vibe. Maybe like Morocco, not really Morocco, but like it hit different than other tracks, you know? And that was cool. That was really cool. All right, from here, from the top here, I think I already put it on 0.75. That's just what's going to be happening. Notice in the beginning of this, they set up, it kind of felt related to the very first time they set up, but that one was definitely more on the they were arching or using their back to help create that image. Here they're just setting it up. It feels a little different. The red and the white, I think I was not expecting it to go this direction, and I love to be mistaken in better ways. Like I'm not expecting them to look bad or look a certain way in a negative sense, but it is really nice to see It's definitely carried a more gregarious tone, like more of a happier tone, overcoming tone. I love having the switching of the levels, really great to showcase that. Then having your reveal, then everybody slowly moving to transition, same pacing to help have your feature come up. Then having him go, then everybody else join in. So the overall note is probably going to still stand with this group of they don't use their back as much, but I actually think, I mean, we'll check. We're checking the footage. I see that we're more cohesive with the head here than what I saw in their very first one. So I already see progress made. So that's great. I love the energy of this, a little bump. With the history with the kicks, we're getting a lot of sturdy. Sturdy is the name of this one. And probably because of ROCKSTAR, I really like the usage of more like a band percussion over a sound like what you would hear whenever somebody modifies a percussion instrument in the studio. I like that it has a more organic band tone about it, so it helps tie in the name of the track more effectively. And it's nice everybody's just kind of pulsing right there, having your feature have its moment, which I really like. I love the kick. I'm noticing, it's about the third time I've seen it now, when they do a kick, it initiates something to take place. And the type of kick is very much an accented kick with the foot obviously flexed to whatever direction, and they respond out of it. I like it every time because it is slightly different every time, but it's just a little fingerprint I'm noticing based on their choreography team. So having them come up, boom, da-da, notice the range, still slightly off here, especially like my guy right here compared to everybody up here. So that's just my note. Everyone's got to be on the same page, especially if you're sharing a line with people who do have a similar family of how they execute it. Dropping it down. I mean, I'm assuming this is going to be one of those things. They have to do that. They're doing a great job of using a ton of levels to help showcase different images. The benefit of having 10 people. I love the reveal. Really nice. The shaking it down. The slide through, which is really nice. They're staying center a lot better. So shout out to the tape for being where it is and for them to know where they're supposed to go. So I love how they're kind of hitting it up. He takes it. He throws. Then we have everybody slowly bring up to frame to the outsides, which I really like. But then having those that are in the center dropping down a little bit lower, so you do see a level change. Then having your guy that was featured go away. And we tend to in their pre-chorus so far. I mean, the first time it was definitely more like, not like a little shimmy, that little section that talks about the shimmy. That was really nice because it was complex, but it was more of an interruption in a good way. And you don't quite see that kind of syncopation so early in a track. Here, I would kind of share the same sentiments. Not everybody on this side is doing a good job of committing to whatever angle they're doing, which is covering the mouth and the arms up. Over here, not quite as clear with one of our guys, so that would just be my note there. Boom, da da da. Really nice to see that. That's definitely a lot better, having the ba da 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 and noticing that they drop and then they travel it up. I love the usage of the torso as they create new moments. It's great. Sliding it through, do, really fun. With the kick, I love that. And then as he hits and he keeps that balance, they actually rotate the entire formation, keeping him not as a fixed point, because they do end up rotating him, but it's nice to create the formation, but they show that whole shift with everybody and then have him propel up. It's just a nice, very way to showcase that. Great airtime. Hitting it through. I love that, da-da-da-da-da, picking it up. This was nice. 1, 2, 3, having the 1 and the 2, and then having everybody branch out. New reveal of another feature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Normally people stop at 4, so it's interesting that we are counting up to 7. I'll take it. Everyone needs a reminder of how to count. They need to learn how to count to 8. Everyone's got to learn how to count to 8 if you dance, because that's what we go off of is the 5, 6, 7, 8. So them knowing how to count to 7 sounds like they follow directions and they pay attention to their choreography classes. So I like how they're all around. Having the only person not clapping is the one that is our feature. Really great call there. Then he takes his hands, causing everybody to stop, and then everybody responds after he has his moment, which I really like. They come back in, little moment with our front. Love that engagement. Then we have that everybody nice and slow, but notice not everybody is dragging the same way. Some are dragging at the ball of the foot, some are dragging at the toe. That's going to affect what the knee looks like, and that's going to affect the kind of step that you take after. So even somebody is completely propping it up, I would say these two share that similar commonality. Some of them, my very front two guys are hitting it here, and then one of them's completely flat-footed. He's kind of teetering on the ball of the foot, and then he's kind of turning it out a little bit as well as him. So that's just my little note. Clarification. For them, they got big picture cleanliness. That's great. For stuff like this, that can carry you a very long way. If you want to, and this may just take natural time, they may not have to hone in on it as aggressively, but if they want to expedite the process of looking more refined and more implicit. So what I mean by that is there's explicit and implicit learning. Implicit is like it looks known, like breathing is an implicit activity we do. We breathe. We don't have to tell our body to breathe. It's something that our body knows how to do from practice, right? Obviously. But in this case, a lot of times with groups, I would say 17 is a great example of this. You do end up seeing this in ATs, especially when you compare their 2019 stuff to their 2022 stuff. You see a very obvious synchronicity difference, but the quality of the content didn't change. It was refined, but you can tell like the complexity that was presented, the demand of the body was similar, if anything more heightened in aggression and the tension required in the later stuff. But you notice that their bodies are starting to respond similarly to the choreography as they're more as a group. And that's what you get. If you want to fix those problems before you even debut, you got to have a structure working together for many years, like XG's case. And even they have very minute synchronicity, not even synchronicity, range or angles that could be refined from them. And they've trained for 5 years. With 17, they train an extensive period of time together before they debuted as well. So it goes to show here, you can tell they've trained together. I don't know how long, but there's some the details all the way through the fingers hasn't been an established implicit knowledge for this group yet. It will naturally come over time. There's some bays showcase that when I watch their eras, and this will be of no exception. I do look forward to that. But just my overall note, the notes I give are only toolkits if they want to expedite that process and make it more efficient and make them see more progress faster. Moving on from here. So they have this moment, he goes down, they all switch to the front, shoulder roll up with the head. I really like that choice. They throw, they turn. Great way to showcase a new formation, having alternate people turn every other to branch out, having one person in the center, then having it build out with the outside, but they're nice and slow, hitting the bases, that registered by our front, by our center in the middle, then everybody hitting the bases in complement. So you're distributing polyrhythms, right? So there's multiple things happening on the track at the same time, and instead of having one person do all of them, you have one person do one layer, and it makes it more complex. So it showcases that we're hearing the music the way we want to hear it. I love that, da-da-da, and there's a little kick. Instead of the kick front, they did a little side kick. So that's going to be one of the things that we see them do, because they know how to respond extrovertedly or very aggressively by those moments. So it makes sense why they're put in so much. The slide through, I like the build here, super fun. I love that, building it up. And then building it up again, one of our features throws it instead of continuing it on, helps us see who we're looking at there. They come in, boom, nice, great tension here. I do notice him doing that again in the second course. So I guess my suggestion I would give to him specifically is getting into it slightly differently. Instead of it making it feel like, it feels copy and paste. And you don't want your choreography to feel copy paste in courses. You want them to feel reworded. You know what I mean? Like your intro and your conclusion of an essay should say the same thing, but be worded differently. It shouldn't be a copy and paste of how you started and how you finished, right? And that would be my overall note for this course choreography, or how they set up the course. It does feel like, oh, here we go again. More like a deja vu, or it's already predictable, so I can't be encapsulated by the choices made, even if they're slightly different. So that's my overall note that I would give to this right here. Da-da-da-da, Rockstar. That was a really fun, it kind of branches, and it was a really interesting choice that they chose to swerve to travel. I really like that. And then everybody goes boom and a boom. But notice not everybody's making the same choice. I'm assuming it's supposed to be here, or here, or here. I don't know, because there's all of that. There's one that's angstily over here. So that's why my note is they got to refine that kind of stuff in order for it to register squeaky clean. The throw, doom, da da da, really great on the choreo on this part with the kick, da da da. Notice with the transition, he used one leg, but most people did the crossover to drop, so that was totally fine. This groove we saw in Tricky House already. They did it more. They actually brought that leg in a little bit more, so it kind of looked a little bit like a butterfly. But this one here, there's really obvious usage of the hips. I do like it. Great choice. And it's in how the upper body responds to that groove in order for it to know how it's supposed to be received. So everybody's making similar choices, which is why it works. Hitting it through, boom, ba-da-dum-dum. Throwing it through, and then of course we see that movement again. I love the energy enough where it shakes the camera. I know that's definitely something that a lot of people do appreciate, especially if you're a fan. You're like, yeah, give it to me. I totally get that. That's fun. That's fun where everyone's here except for our feature. He's right here in the center. Can I take a ballpark guess of who our leader is? My gut, like, I kind of feel it as like a little, sometimes, what is it? I get like a little inkling of, I feel like one of our guys is leader material, possibly. I didn't guess it with ATs. I was too busy trying to figure out who was who. In this case, I don't know any of them. So, can we do nominations and you tell me if it's one of them, but don't tell me? Okay, nomination number 1. This guy right here. Like, right here. Boom, 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 boom. That could be a leader, potentially. He could be affiliated as a role of a dancer, but I feel like his performance is really good. I don't think his dancing is so captivating that gives him the title of dancer. But also, I don't know, do they do those titles anymore in Gen 5, or is just everybody supposed to do everything? I don't know. Do we still have leaders? I don't know anymore. He could be a leader, potential number 1. Potential number 2 could be my guy right here. Maybe, but I have more confidence behind this guy. We'll see. Maybe this guy, or maybe this guy. So far my nominees are half the group. We'll see. Maybe I'll be like, this is my leader senses are tingling. Maybe it's him. We'll see. So I think we just wasted each other's time for like 2 minutes. I'm so sorry. Throwing it down. Da 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 da. I really like how they chose to do the rocket, like just head banging right there. Really fun way to do that course, I will say. It kind of feels like here's the envelope and they're pushing it and then they rip it a little bit. It's really fun, you know, and it's done very well. It's done very well. And so I think it's just, I mean, like my jaw, like my mouth hurts because I just analyzed Tricky House the time of me recording this, so just my mouth being ajar at some of these choices, I'm like not expecting it, but it's nice to see someone go for it in that way, you know, because it's like, oh, it'd be nice if they just went for it. They did. And so now that's not even a note, that's a compliment, you know. I love the fact that they went for it. What makes going for it so captivating is if you can be competent in the content and actually do the content well, which they are doing it about 85% well. There is about that, you know, I'd give it 15% that could be a little bit more refined, I think. But that's just an overall note. A really great way. Shoot that hand up to show us that that's who we need to look at. Hitting it through, boom, da 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 da. I like that build on there too, which is really nice. Hitting it through, boom, doo doo doo, and they kick it through. Feeling like a star. Dipping it through, doom, doo doo doo, which I really like. Hitting it down. I love how he hits it to kind of transition everybody around. That was a good choice. And then he hits it, boom, and I love the energy of my center, and they all choose to chill it out here. Now he drops down. Now we have one of our guys hit through. They go, yo, and they go, psh. They have a lot of those types of interruptions, which is something I really liked about ATEEZ's earlier era, some of their stuff, which is there's these little interruptions, da-da-da-da. Actually, just in general, ATEEZ is really good at that, so it's actually nice to see that fingerprint translated over into this new group under the same label. It's just really fun to see. All of that, doom doom, really nice to see. I do feel like we could have had more refinement within those pops. That was nice, but it does feel like we were trying to do a vibration because of how fast it is. A vibration would do them better, and I think that's what they were going for. Love that switch, doo 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 doo. I like that. Switching it through, I like that. Dee dee dee. Pulling it through. Just the whole section was nice. It was much more together, those two were. He gets to have his own motion, his own moment. Now, this is our one section. This is dating this. I would put this in the same category as some movements that were in Say My Name. Not all of them, but some of them really date the performance to the era in which it came out. So if that's what you want, go for it. Totally fine. But if you want all your discography to feel timeless, then putting moves in the context of how they're viral is not the best approach. Now, if they took this and they chose, I mean, they do some variants, but a lot of it is getting sturdy, and they've done the shoot, like that motion, quite a few times already, but it makes sense for the context of what kind of track it is. You know, you just kind of moving across stage. It's fun, and we do have some overlap between the rock culture with some of these moves, and I get it. I would just say an overall note, varying this a little bit more would really help it feel more timeless or age better than what we're seeing it here. Yeah, that right, it's all of this section right here. That is a straight get sturdy if I saw one. And dipping it down with the body rolls, which I really like. And I love that we had them one group facing back, one facing front. That's a really good call, especially if you're in an arena. You're able to have all sides get a little bit of xikers, you know, and it's not just all facing front. It's complete side note. Every time I say xikers, it reminds me of Slifer, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Slifer the Sky Dragon. Like it's like their name gives me a Yu-Gi-Oh! Character. I like it though. I'm a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's why I'm like, I'm here for it. But every time I say Xiker, I have to tell myself, is that right? Yes, it is. Like I go through this whole process in my brain. I'll get used to it eventually. But anyway, I do like the fact that this is a nice subtle way of doing fan service because you're able to apply your routine, which is the usage of having a lot of members, apply your routine to the masses around, and that helps make everybody feel like their seat was worth what it cost. Now we're dropping it back down. You can tell some of them are so cheating this. Mr. Guy right here is so cheating that he squatted, he didn't actually drop. So that would be my little note. Commit to it. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this was a lot better to see there. In this moment, we have our 5. I really like this, and then we have our V established. That was super nice. I like that build back, so it actually created a really nice depth moment going back and dropping it down. That was fun. Leading it up. Ooh, nice little breath moment with our feature. Dun, 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 dun. Fun. And bringing it through. This was nice. Of course, we're building it up very similar way, but their formation is more compact, so that's why it looks a little different. So part of me, okay, so I'm like being very real. Part of me feels like he could be a leader contender. I don't know why. He's one of those that's giving me that type of energy. Yeah, and then they build it up the same. But notice, this is my little thing that I noticed. He built it the exact same way as the first course, and that would be my note. It's probably he was asked to do that. It's totally fine. if he brought it in a different way, or if it was a different person who fall on a different side. That would have really enhanced or made me look forward to seeing something different. But because he set it up the same way, my brain went, I need to be seeing what I saw the first time. Copy paste, goes back to my previous point. For me, it just helps routine whenever you just show symptoms of what you've done, but you don't completely replicate it, because it can make your routine feel more still faster depending on your level of complexity you have. Now this part right here is different than what they did the first time. They did a full travel and made a nice visual, but because of what I already mentioned, for me, my brain had to really get out of the mindset, oh, this is different, you know? Slap, that was nice. I like everybody. Dun, 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 dun. This choreo is very similar. This right here, it's nice to see. Of course, you have our guy right here, very extroverted in energy. Okay, contender for leader number 2, I would say my guy right here. I have a higher chance of seeing him as my leader over this guy here. He was the one who gave me that energy first, so honestly, he's my main contender right now. You can let me, how about this? You let me know, am I right? Is he our leader? And if that's the case, we can try to figure out why I think he is. But just in this song alone, I've just noticed him a lot, or his placement, or his type of features give off leader features. I don't know why. It could just be because of my saturation of newer groups. Because in the past couple of months, I've been exposed to a lot of groups, whether they're new or old, they're new to me. So I'm learning, like, okay, this person's a leader, and I'm kind of digesting and observing their behaviors, or how they come across in their essence, or their fingerprints of their movement. Or there's a chance that I'm projecting how Hongjun presents in his key elements of his AT tracks, and I know he's the leader, and I'm projecting it, and I'm using that as a filter to see who's showcasing those same fingerprints that Hongjun did, and he's giving off that's going off for me there. My other guy, the one that I have noticed before that I did ask the name of, from Tricky House, he doesn't give off leader energy to me, but he could be. The reason why, he actually gives off more, he has a lot of fullness, but I feel like there's still a lot of unrefined left to unpack. And also with leaders, you notice that they have a sense of competency of craft of the things that they do. Like, they're very consistent. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're consistently doing things well, because they're the ones that have to set the example, because they're the leader. So that's why I feel like he gives out the energy of doing the movements pretty well, which is what gives me that sentiment. I don't know. I feel like I'm just making things up, and honestly, I'm just trying to calibrate to recalibrate to actually be helpful. I don't know. But that's a really fun guessing game for me to play. Yeah, he's still there. That's Garden. Throwing it down. Love it with the head again. But notice everybody made a very similar choice the first time. So that's why it didn't feel as enjoyable or as, whoa, the second time. It felt like impressive they're doing it again. Now, I think we're getting into the part that I was really impressed with for, like, transition. We're getting into that. Yeah. So I like that they hit it and then they transition it out. This next little section was really cool. This right here, this part's fine. The glide, they really need to think about transitioning the weight to where it actually looks like a glide, but I do like the choice that they made, though. It looks fine. This part here is really cool. Now this part, they throw it down. It's our first feature. That right there, I love the fact they push that head forward, and he puts his hand up. It looks like he just controlled what happened, and then our new feature happening. This was really cool. They come up, he curls it in. He throws them down. He starts the add-on. He throws it, and then he joins the add-on. They showcase a new feature. I love that. And then, guess what? We have a new feature join. That was a really cool sequence because it felt very complementary to what was going on, and it made me very clearly see our feature 100% of the way, but appreciate what everybody else is doing to make that feature look good. I love that moment a lot. New guy, Brian, coming forward. Pulling through. Nice moment. They're all nice. I love where they're fast and then they do a speed change. That was a really cool moment. I love that. And that's what makes this track utterly dangerous to put on a Dance Dance Revolution or a Pump It Up step chart. Like, this would be an awful track to try to do in a great way, in a competitive way, meaning you would have to work really hard to figure out this song in order to do that. Because fun fact, it's not really a fact, it's just something that it's from lived experience. It's turned something relevant in my life. when I train and Pump It Up, it actually teaches you musicality, or it teaches you how to find layers and patterns of how to hear different parts of your music. Like a lot of these songs that are on Pump It Up step charts, I end up hearing it completely differently because of what I mentioned before. It's just there's certain patterns that you make, they have to come from somewhere in the music, and it makes you notice, there's that little sound in the music I never heard before. So you end up hearing your music in a different way by playing Pump It Up. And that's my plug. Go to your local arcade and have fun. But anyway, we're going to go back and appreciate this one more time because I loved it the first time. Here, flats, and then notice in that step, so they did that motion, used the upper body to create that fullness, and then that next step, they speed changed it. Speed change means they slowed down the weight distribution between their foot going from the heel to the toe, and they allowed their body to kind of resist that. It turned from turning normal into walking through molasses, and that's what really registered differently. And then also everybody on the bottom really catered and complimented that because they also slowed down their movement, and that's why that worked. It was a full body commitment, and also the track slowed down. So all of that working together is what really worked. Now it goes 1, 2, 3, pop off. They're also doing the dance break at the end. I feel like dance breaks normally happen at the end, but it's just something like the aggressive, oh my God, there's so much happening in a good way. A lot of that's happening at the end, which I really like. Throwing through, da-da-da-da. With the heel, the tip-top toe, that da-da-da-da, tip-top toe, with the swing up, dropping it down. I like that. Really great choice to go unison, having one guy to have his moment. Do-do-do. I like that. And everybody pulsing through this. Some of them are choosing to do a head ISO, some are not. For me, just clarify which one. Both look fine. Hitting through, I love that. That little extra that he was doing. Boom, boom. He chose to knot it instead of actually poking it forward, because if you poke it forward, it's going to have more of tension in the neck. But actually slamming, not slamming, but like throwing that chin down, it's going to make it bigger but faster. Drop it. Wah! And they finish it. That was really nice to go da-da, ba-da. That was really fun. Okay, leader contender number 2, my guy right here. Possibly. I don't know. I could just be because of how he exudes like the performance quality near the tail end, and some of the key moments where we have to reset the energy. He's in the center, and sometimes leaders, whenever they're put based on where they're placed in the formation, can be really helpful to recenter everybody in terms of just make sure everyone's on the same page. So he would be my contender number 2. So going back, I would say my 2, he gives off a lot of leader energy. He's my second choice. So those are my 2. You let me know if I'm right. And if I'm wrong, we'll just keep guessing. But all in all, this was great. The fact is, so far I'm 2 for 2 on this group, where I had to go 0.75 on it because there was so much going on. Ooh, they give us a lot of fun things, That looks like a cool music video, but we're not going to watch it now. Y'all know me. I'll marathon it first, and then we'll go back and watch the music videos. But that was really, really fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was helpful in some way. Really enjoying taking a look at this group in particular, especially knowing their predecessors and how they went through their eras. It's nice to see the next generation take form. Very much enjoying it. If you want to see and get in on the action on how K-pop marathons work for me, I go to Patreon. I say, hey guys, here's some contenders of what we're choosing a marathon. People vote. I watch. It's all great and fun. Normally I tackle dance practices first, and then I go and I look through all the music videos. No group has too many routines to take a look at. Now it really just depends on the month and how many break days I have from work. But because remember, I am actively still working. I am a dance teacher. I am a dance choreographer. That is what I do during the day, and then I do these at home for fun. And I really love it because I feel like I learn so much more from being exposed to what's out there in the industry, and it inspires me to help the next generations in the studios be able to flourish and pursue whatever they want to do after they graduate, which is super fun. So like I said, if you want to in on the action on how to make any decisions on what I choose to react to, Patreon is the way to go. If you're totally fine with just seeing what I react to and watching how I post, YouTube is perfect for that. I answer discussions on both sides. I always encourage commentary. If you're a fan of this group, I want to know about it. Please let me know. Was I close to who the leader was? But don't give it away if I did not get them. But if I did, explain away who is the leader, that, and the other, and I'm definitely excited to continue taking a look at this group in my little mini 5th gen marathon here. Once again, I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.